Hello, my fellow chatterers and book lovers, and anyone else who's popped in because you're curious or you've got a bit lost. Welcome, everyone. I'm Chatty, and this is my channel, Chatty the Mad Chatter, and I'm finally doing my March TBR. It's late, but that's fine, and I'm really excited to do this because we're in March already, and I don't know which book to read next because there's so many I want to read, and I don't have a set TBR. So let's play the game Bookladders and Bookworms and set one. If you're not sure what this is, I will do a very brief explanation, and then I'm going to explain what this month's prompts are, talk through some of the rewards and punishments I have popping up in this game, and then we'll go into the first roll and talk about the books, which should be awesome. I've got a few buddy reads going on this month, so I'll see if I can get those in. And also it's middle grade March, so obviously a lot of the books I want on here are going to be middle grade. Ta-da! So it's not quite my fully new big version. I'm very excited about how this is going, but there is still a third square around the game that is not coloured in. But I'm loving doing this and making this, but it's taking a long time and I want to film my TBR. So we're just going to go with what we have. So we've got the first square, we've got the second square, we've got all the worms and ladders in place. And if I do end up getting to the third square, we're just going to use my little draft notes version, and I'll be going, okay, I've landed on here. This would be yellow to help me out. So that is the plan. Okay, let's do the gimmick. I have the little tiny teacup. You know, cheers, everybody. Clink, clink, clink. One shot. There is no editing. I'm just pressing pause to flip between my two different locations. Amazing. Right, so the aim of the game is, it's Bookladders, which is and Bookworms, which is like snakes and ladders. So you roll a dice, you move that amount of squares, and then you go up a ladder or down a worm. If you land on the bottom of the ladder, you go up. If you land on the top of a worm, you go down. Otherwise, we just ignore it and do the colour. Colours are basic prompts, so they're kind of like your average prompts in terms of difficulty. Ladders, because I've left my bits over here, because I'm so unprepared. Ladders are lucky ladders, so they're more like read a 5-star prediction, read a book with beautiful cover, something you're anticipating. They're a bit more flexible. And worrying worms are more challenging. So they are like, you know, find a book with a specific number of pages in it, or words in the title, or author beginning with a certain letter. Those ones that kind of really limit you. And then I'm going to explain green, yellow, blue and pink. I make a different prompt, fit it each month, so it kind of changes. And I can kind of suit it to kind of like what I feel like doing that month. So that's essentially the game. I roll 6. I try and read those 6 books by the end of the month. If I do, I get reward. If I don't, I get a punishment. So when I started this game, I was hoping this month I would have the fully completed board and I could do a proper introduction and explanation of exactly what this is and really go into the rules in more detail, explaining a lot more. But that hasn't happened yet. Once I have finished the board, I will do a proper introduction video. This is just a very brief glimpse of it. If you want to know more, I will put the playlist up here with all the past games that you can look through. So if you look at January, February's, because they're the most recent one, they're the ones that will have like I would say probably the best explanation of how to play the game if you want more details. But what we're going to do is I'm going to show you all the different prompts that we have got for this month. So this month's prompts are as follows. And we have some old classics. We have 30-second prompt. So this is one of my regular prompt cards. I have 30 seconds to fulfill that prompt with a book. And if I don't, I then have to pick another book as well. Theme card, I have a load of themes here. So it could be something to do with like having some water on the cover or something of nature on the cover or in the title, that type of thing. So they're all here and I just pick a part card and choose a book accordingly. Green is my reading projects. So I've got a few kind of things that I'm on the go with. One I've not spoken about. One is my Chatty's Challenge. So reading a book that is in the Goodreads last 7 years of favourite fantasy. So I've kind of gone for like the top 3 of each year, roughly, and I'm trying to read all of those. I started it last year, still haven't finished. And I'm doing a few things where I'm comparing, like pairing 2 books together, an author I enjoyed their first book, an author I didn't enjoy their first book, and seeing if I change my opinions on the second time of reading. And I've got some other projects where I'm exploring genres, which I haven't gone into yet. So that is what that is all about. A lucky 13. So for this one, it's basically a number generator, but with middle grade. So I have my little number blocks. I've got number 1, number 2, and number 3. They're all magnetized. They have a giant magnet, and I'm just going to hover over and see which one jumps up first. So whichever one does that, that's the shelf I'm starting on. So I've read all of those, so we're not starting on that shelf. This is shelf number 1. And this is shelf number 2. This is shelf number 3. So I go along until I get to number 13, just counting the middle grade books alone. And when I get to number 13, that is a book that I will read, unless I've already read it. So I'm going to count all the middle grades that I've got up on the shelves. If I've already read it, I move on to the next one that I haven't read. So that is the plan for that. So hopefully that is nice and simple. And we can crack on with the game. But before we do that, actually, I have got a reward and a punishment to talk about. So I did not make use of the reward I had for February, which was to replace any book with a childhood favourite or a book you're keen to reread, which was from Melly and Bridget on the Shelf Space Discord. So I'm carrying this over, and it works quite nicely for middle grade March because there are some childhood favourites that I could maybe swap in. And whatever prompt I get, I might decide I don't want to do that one and I would rather read this childhood favourite of mine instead. So that is a definite possibility. I then have a punishment from January, and that is to read a book with a recipe in it and then vlog making and eating that food. And that is by Bridget again, and also Pondering Books, also on Shelf Space Discord. So some fun things to consider in there as well. So we're going to go and do the first roll as soon as I've had a gulp of tea. I hope you've all got a nice beverage with you. Okay, let's see if what this game is going to entail. So I have my counter here. This is my Embrace the Waffle, which is inspired by the marvellous marketing Mason from Mason in the Dark, who always gives me little ideas. So I say Embrace the Waffle quite a lot. So he thought, how about having a cute little actual waffle? Who wants a hug? So there we go. That's going to be my counter. So I'm going to start off in the middle, right here. And the first roll, I can decide what direction I want to go in. So we just use 1 dice for the first square. And then when I move to the second square, I use 2 dice. I'm going to start with purple. And that was a fail to begin with. Right, it has to land in the bowl. There we go. So I have a 4. So let's see what I can do with 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I go a yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4. I go green. I think, yeah. So it's basically going to be green, yellow, pink. Let's start off with the pink and get a middle grade on there. So let's see what my middle grade is going to be. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so pink is the lucky 13. So let's try this. So here are my magnets. Let's see what shelf I get. Put them all close together in a circle. You can't see this, so you're just going to have to trust me. Magnets going down. What's coming up? None of them. None of them are moving. Should have probably tested this. Okay, I've got one. And it is number 2. So number 2 was this shelf. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, not a middle grade, 8, 9, 10, which means we're onto this shelf, 11, 12, 13 I have already read. So that brings me to the next one, which is Nura and the Immortal Palace, which is fantastic first pick because this is a book that I suggested for Nicole from Dusty Book Sniffers. She has a wheel where people can suggest a genre, and from that genre we suggest a book to be the sort of the buddy read that we're reading that month. And it landed on me, and I had fantasy, and I thought because it's middle grade March, let's do a middle grade fantasy because I love middle grade. And I suggested Nura and the Immortal Palace. This is a book by M.T. Khan, it's the debut novel. It came out last year, and it is a portal fantasy set in Pakistan. So excited this one came up. So there is Buddyreads. If you want to join in, I will link Nicole's Discord on here. I'll also link her channel, so you can also go onto there and find her and find out more about this. So here we go, first book, wonderful. So we now have the direction that we're moving in, because I can move either way. So we're doing a clockwise direction. So let's roll the dice, second roll. 1, which means we are now on, blue. It is the tail of the worm, so it is not a worm, it is blue. So let's go see what that is. So blue is 30 seconds prompt, as you can see here. So got my prompt cards, let's give them a shuffle. I will pick the top one and I'm gonna wait. I'm watching the time on the phone. I'm gonna wait till it's a nice number. Okay, 2 seconds, go. Okay, it is a well-loved author. Hollypox, done. I don't know why I needed to pause it. I didn't need to pause it at all. Okay, so Hollypox is the third book in the Nevermore series, which is a middle grade fantasy series by Jessica Townsend. I have read Nevermore, I have read Wondersmith, I buddy read them with my mum. We're finally going to be reading Hollypox. I've been saying since the end of the year that I really needed to do it. She's finally reread so she can remember what's happening. So we are ready, we are primed and we are ready. And yeah, I absolutely love those books, so I cannot wait to read more in this series and from this author. I'm so excited. Brilliant, 2 middle grades straight in there. This is going well. Okay, third roll now. Amazing, staying in. It is 3. So 3 brings us to 1, 2, 3. We have a lucky ladder. So we go up the ladder to the second square. So we're now on the bookshelves. So lucky ladder is a good thing. It's a good thing because it's not going to force me to read something I don't want to read. But sometimes it's very vague. So then I'm like just too spoilt for choice. So we'll see what I get. I might see if I can get some of the other Buddyreads in here that I need to get on here. That might work. So let's see what I get. I'm going for this one, and it is upside down. Is there a recently acquired book that's come into your house that you want to read? Yes, there is several. So what have I recently acquired that I want to... Oh, that would work beautifully, actually. They said I wanted to get a buddy read on here. Should I go for that? I'll go for that. I'll go for that. Let's go for it. Let's do it. Okay, we're going. So I subscribe to Fairy Loot, which is a YA fantasy book box, and they are beautiful books. I've enjoyed some that I've read. The one recently read, not so much. But myself and Vadania from Vadania Silverscribe and Chloe from Phantom of the Pages, because we all get Fairy Loot and we want to be reading the books, and we haven't been as much as we wanted to. We're sort of doing probably like a bi-monthly book box pick. So Chloe recently did a poll of the books on her channel, and the one that was voted in was the January one, which is Spice Road by Maya Ibrahim. I can't tell you how excited I am for this book. So this was out of the ones we had. This was probably like the one I was most looking forward to. It just sounds so fantastic. It sounds like it's like a desert fantasy, Arabic inspired, and I just think the cover is beautiful. I'm hearing good things about it. I'm hearing a lot of people talking about it, so I'm really keen to pick this up. So let's just appreciate the beauty of the cover. We have this beautiful kind of like Arabian sort of like door or window shape, and then we have the beautiful sunset with the bird, and I like how the feathers kind of almost like curl around the sun, and we have this road here. I don't actually know anything about what the book's about, but the vibe I'm getting sounds really cool. I've left all the bits and pieces in here. Let me just show you. We've got end papers, which is awesome. So we've got some characters here, and then look at that cover. Underneath the underneath the dust jacket, we have got gold foiling We've got alternative art on the inside, at the edges. This amazing like jade with these different symbols. We have, I'm imagining a wine jug, or could be a water jug or just an elaborate one. So we've got a nice jug, we've got a dagger, and we've got a goblet mixed in with these just twirly gold bits and red flowers. So very excited for those. And the tagline on the back is, whoever controls the spice controls the kingdom itself. I'm guessing, I don't know because I know nothing about this, it could be like a sort of a quest, bit of a quest fantasy, a bit of a political fantasy. We will find out. We will find out. So yes, so this is one of the buddy reads and it's now on the list. Amazing. 4th roll time. So I've just remembered we need 2 dice for this one. Now we're on the bookshelf layer. So we have 11. So we have 6 and 5. So that takes us to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That was close. 11. That's the top of a ladder. So this is blue, which means it's another 30-second prompt. Just made sure I removed the last prompt card from here, just in case I randomly get it again. Okay, so, oh, I should have done it then. That was quite a nice number. Okay, I'm going. An old book acquired or published. Old. What have I had for ages? What have I had for ages? That's new. And that's kind of newish. They're all newish. Oh, have I had that for ages? Or has it just been... Oh, I've had... What have I had for ages? Well, it could be that... Oh, no, I'm putting that in there. Oh, what are we on? What are we on? Yeah, okay, done. And that's the end of my 30 seconds. Okay. Oh my goodness, I had a moment of like, what have I had for ages? Because I might have bought in a book a long time ago, but then recently, because when I buy books, they don't always, unless I'm like, this is specifically for my shelf, this is a treat for me. When I buy books, I put them under my bed and then I have to earn them by doing healthy things to then get a book out from under my bed. So I could have had books in there for ages, but then just recently earned them. So I was just panicking like, I don't know how long I've had these. Okay, so what I have gone for is Orion Lost. And I definitely had this last year, so that definitely counts. So Orion Lost, it is a middle grade. Woohoo! It's a middle grade sci-fi, which excites me. I have heard brilliant things about this book from everyone who I have seen on BookTube who've read it. Particularly featured in Brightness Katy Reads Best Middle Grade Books, and Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin Best Middle Grade Books. Also Jade from Jade Reads as well. So I have high hopes for this book. So it is by Alistair Chisholm, and it is a space sci-fi. And I don't know anything more than that. I believe they're in space. I believe everyone is kind of like in a sleep to try and like get to where they're supposed to be. And I think the children wake up. Some children wake up and there's no one piloting the ship is what I believe is the premise. I don't know. But I'm so excited. I've been reading quite a bit of sci-fi recently and I'm really enjoying it. So yes, this is yay. And also it does fit one of the middle grade March prompts quite spectacularly. So that is a winner. Okay, we have 2 more rolls to go. So we have 6 here. And where's my waffle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have green. We've not had green yet, so let's see what green is. So green is my reading projects. So, like I said, I have a few of them. And I don't think any of them relate to middle grade March, but that's okay. I've already got 3 on here. Be nice to kind of mix it up with something. I could try and swing it and argue and say Buddyreads are like a reading project, but that's not what I had in my head when I was doing this. But I think I know what I want to go for. So one of my reading goals, as well as reading the Fairy Loot book box books that I have, I also want to read books from the other book box other book subscription I subscribe to, and that is the Shelterbox book club. So this is their most recent one. So ideally I would love to actually read the one they send and then join in like the online stuff, or at least watch like their book club discussion and things about that book. I've never actually got around to doing that apart from like the first two. So we will see. So their book that they sent most recently is My Pen is the Wing of a Bird, which is new fiction by Afghan women. So it's a collection of short stories by different women from Afghanistan. It's a really cute little book, and it has these French flaps, which are always nice. Do enjoy those. Here we go. So it's a whole mix. Does it say who the editor is? So it's a collaboration between writers, translators and editors to introduce extraordinary writers with original, vital and unexpected stories to tell. My Pen is the Wing of a Bird comes at a pivotal moment in the Afghanistan history when these voices must be heard. So I am really keen to read this. I really wanted to start it on the 8th of March, which was International Women's Day, but I didn't because life. But it should be quite nice to read through. Oh, I also have the little Shelterbox bit of paper that tell me anything further throughout that. Don't think so. It says, stories matter, so too the storytellers. It's why we're honoured to be working with the Bristol Ideas to bring you a special event for the International Women's Day, which is what I wanted to do, with some incredibly hard-working storytellers who've helped to bring this book to you. We hope you'll be able to join us live, I didn't, or watch the recording in your own time. So maybe I can do that. If you're interested in Shelterbox, I'm not affiliated with them, but I do put the link in my description box. So if you want to find out more about it, you can do. It is proceeds of doing this also give money to the charity Shelter as well. And I just think it's a really fun thing to do. It challenges me because it does a lot of, it's not necessarily a lot of books I'd read. So I'm not necessarily a short stories person, but I'm really interested to hear some stories from Afghanistan. I did enjoy the book The Little Coffee Shop of Kabul, but that was by a Western woman who went to Afghanistan and lived there for a while and wrote a book. I want to read stories from people who it is their country, it is their home, it is their culture. So I am really keen to read this one. And with it being short stories, it'd be quite nice to kind of like pick up and put down between some of the other ones. So yeah, that'd be good. Okay, final roll. Ready? We have 10. Ta-da! Double 5. Doubles mean nothing. So let's move 10 and see what we get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So close to being a worrying worm there, but it wasn't. So the last one that we're going on is blue. So blue is the last one. So we didn't get any yellow. Can't even remember what I put for yellow, but blue is the final one we're doing. Okay, shuffling the cards for the 30-second prompt. And I'm going to go for this one here, which is, stuck to another one. And it is a cozy book. Wonderful. 17. Okay, so cozy. Okay, possibilities. Would that be cozy? Would that be cozy? Okay, 17. Oh, I don't know. There's so many this could fit for because I'm immediately middle grade. Okay, I'm going for this one. Well, we're 43, so yeah, that was 47 would be 30 seconds because I started on 17. So yes, woohoo, did it. Okay, great. Oh my goodness, it was so hard to like choose what feels cozy and what do I definitely want to be reading. I was tossing up between quite a few on here that I'm like, well, I don't know if they felt cozy. That feels more like maybe emotional or something. This makes me feel cozy because this gives me warm hug vibes because I've chosen Asher and the Spirit Bird by Jasbinder Bilan. And this makes me feel very warm huggy because just all the pictures on here, it's kind of like, it looks like someone went, I'm going to do a painting of my favourite things. So we've got, eagle wings and flowers. I can't do any more. Ings, rhyming. Just lots of floral bits and some animals. And it just, it all feels very warm, the colours in here. This isn't my book. This is my mum's book. So I've borrowed this from Nata and I've been meaning to read it for a really long time. So I'm really excited to pick it up, and she really, really loved it. Sorry, needed to burp. And I think that she said it kind of just really gave her like, there was a kind of a lot of, what's the word? Explores a lot of emotional stuff in here, but like in a warm way, like kind of like a family cozy way, exploration of culture. So I feel it's cozy. I feel it fits cozy. So yes, this is what I've gone for. So let's have a look at my stack and see what else I need to add to the pile. So here are the books. I have Nira and the Immortal Palace, which was a lucky 13 pick. Hollypox, The Hunt for Morrigan Crow, which was an author I want more of. Spice Road, which was a recently acquired book. Orion Lost, which was a book you've had for a long time. My pen is The Wing of a Bird, which is a reading project. And Asha and the Spirit Bird, which was a cozy book. So there we go. So I'm just going to grab some of the other books that I have for like Buddyreads and for my middle grade March TBR. So these are all the possible Buddyreads. So that is 7 books. So I've already got 3 of them on my TBR, which is great. So I've already mentioned Spice Road, which is the Fairy Loot Buddy read with Vadania and Cloe. The plan when I picked this up was that I was buddy reading this with my mum, and I know we were really trying to get this as soon as possible, so that's got in there, which is wonderful. And I've already mentioned that Nira and the Immortal Palace is part of Nicole from the channel Dusty Book Slippers. Sniffers, not slippers. Dusty Book Sniffers buddy read. I then have the second book in the Unmapped Chronicles by Abby Elphinston, which is Jungle Drop. Although the third book, Everdart, is the prequel, so we could read that one next. So this is what I'm doing with, again, Vadania Silver Scribe. We're reading the Unmapped Chronicles. We read the first one, Rumblestar, in January, and absolutely loved it. It was just pure middle grade fantasy joy. It was just so warm and cozy and so like life affirming. It was beautiful. So we're really keen to keep going with the series. She's got a lot on, I've got a lot on, so we're being quite flexible about it, so it's not a massive deal. That's a buddy read possibility. I then have, look at this copy. How beautiful is this? I love it. So it's in this, is it the Puffin? Yeah, it's Puffin Children's Classic. So they have them all in like different coloured, and it's like the hardback printed onto the book cover. So we've got this beautiful blue sky of clouds and aeroplanes and this little red bird that's flying around. And then we have a silhouette of Mr. Tom and Willie Beach and a little chair there. Was it a dog? It's a dog. It's not a chair. It's a dog. It's a dog. So it's Goodnight Mr. Tom by Michelle Magorian. Absolutely love this book. It's so right that it is officially a children's classic. I remember reading it when I was a lot younger and adored it, and have read everything, pretty much everything she's written, and loved 80% of it. So this is for the FOMO Book Club, which is by Jack from Spread Book Joy, Jem from Gem of Books, and Alice from Alice and the Giant Bookshelf. Again, link in the description. So they are doing the FOMO Book Club, where every 2 months they have a book, everyone reads, there's a Discord chat about it, and then they have a live show where they talk about the book. So this is the March and April one, so I don't necessarily have to read it for March. It's just because it's nice because it's middle grade March, but it could kind of like cross over into April. So again, it's more flexible. We then have the next book in the realm of the elderlings. So I am doing a buddy read with that has been led by Anitha from Anitha Garde, where there was a live show after the end of each book. And we are reading the realm of the elderlings, and we are now on the 11th book. So the 10th and 11th book we're kind of reading together. So those are the first 2 books of the Rain Wild Chronicles, which is Dragon Keeper and Dragon Haven. So this is Dragon Haven is the book for this one. But most people have kind of left it to read them both together because that's how they were kind of intended. But then it was too big, so they were kind of separated instead. So we have this live show coming up. And then finally, I've been talking about this book since January. But now I have actually finished my reread of Shadow of the Gods. It is time to read The Hunger of the Gods by John Gwynne, which is the second book in the Bloodsworn epic fantasy series. And I'll be buddy reading this, but with Mason from Mason in the Dark, which I'm so looking forward to. So this is definitely going to be happening. Again, if we don't get it read by the end of April, by the end of March. It's not a problem. So again, quite flexible. The only one that's inflexible is Dragon Haven, just because there's a live show at the end of March, so it wants to be read by then. I believe it's the end of March. Could be the beginning of April. I don't know as of yet. But it's nice that all of these are more flexible. But those are things that I'm hoping to get to. So yeah, you know, they're kind of, we'll put them on the stack of possibilities. Okay, other book. So this is kind of in its own little section because it's not a middle grade. I've recently been enjoying reading a lot more books by trans authors. So I have read 2 fiction books recently. So I wanted to read a memoir. So this is Trans, a memoir by Juliet Jakes. And she is a trans woman who resides in Brighton, which is where I live. So I was like, well, I have to read this one. I think she has also gone on to write other books as well. So I'm looking forward to reading a memoir by her and finding out about her life. Finally, that brings me to another stack of middle grade. I could add more to it, but I'm restraining it. There's more up there, but I'm just reining myself in. So one book that feels a bit like a priority is A Pinch of Magic, which is the first book in the Pinch of Magic series by Michelle Harrison, which is a book that you all chose for me to be the next series I start. I'm really keen to read this. I hear so many good things. I know I'm going to love it. It's just a case of when I do this. This is a library book that I'm keen to read. It is the story of Ignatius Sancho, who is a historical figure. He was the first black man to vote. He lived at the Georgian period and was very, he was a businessman, he was a musician, general kind of like artist, had like this like artistic gathering. He had like a grocer's shop, just tea shop, cafe place where lots of kind of like-minded people who wanted to abolish slavery and appreciated kind of like the art. So it's kind of like the lefties, the kind of the hippies of the Georgian period probably, would kind of congregate and, you know, have poetry readings and all of that stuff. So I'm keen to kind of read more about him because he features in one of my favourite middle grade books, which is the Lizzie and Bell mysteries, Drama and Danger. So I want to read this one. This is a book that I think sounds really, really cool. It is Katy Wampus by Ash Van Otterloo. It's got witches, set in, it does say, but I've missed it. It's somewhere in America, but I believe there's some kind of like culture I kind of want to look into a little bit more than it mentions. But 2 witches from rival witch clans, both kind of with their own struggles to do with magic, and they set off a bit of a catastrophe they then need to solve. So it sounds really fun. So I really want to read this one too. A contemporary I've been really wanting to read is See You in the Cosmos by Jack Cheng. I just think it just sounds like it's going to be a really beautiful story from everything I hear about it. So I'm keen to get to that one. And finally, A Kind of Spark by Elle McNichol, which is a story of a girl who has autism who reads about local witch trials in her area, sort of by doing like some sort of like research or history project on it, and then really becomes obsessed by their stories of them all being women who were different and her wanting to celebrate them, that they were wrongly accused of witchcraft. So I think this sounds amazing and I feel I'm really going to love it. I have not heard anyone who've read this who didn't love it. I've not heard of them. And I was so confident that I'm really going to love it that I have tracked down the US cover because I much prefer it to the British cover, because I love all of this kind of like the sea and how like the Kind of Spark title is written as though it's like in her headphones that she's listening to, and it's all like glowing and sparkling around it. So I just think it's so beautiful and I love the colour palette. So a load of middle grade March possibilities, plus a few in that one that are also Buddyreads, and a load of Buddyread possibilities plus trans a memoir. So lots of things for me to kind of dip in and out of. I have my 6 books that I'm going to try and focus on, but we'll see what happens. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know any thoughts or comments you have about any of the books I've mentioned. Are you doing middle grade March? What books are you reading for it? If you're not sure what middle grade March is, I will link the descriptions. Nope. In my description box, there will be the links to the the channels of the people who are running it. I think it's their 5th year of doing Middlegrade March. So that is Krista from Books and Jams, Katy, I've forgotten her booktube, but it'll be in there, and Amanda from the Curly Reader, plus Jenna, who is in charge of the Instagram stuff. So I'll put all the links in that below. If you're part of Middlegrade March, you're wanting to talk about Middlegrade, then please have a think about joining my Discord. It is Middlegrade focused, and we have a whole set of threads set up for each of the prompts for Middlegrade March and for the Buddyreads. That's the one. I haven't got it yet. I'm still waiting for it to arrive. So there's another book, which is a Rover's Story, which is a sci-fi, which is the group read for Middlegrade March. So that is another one that I'm hoping to read as well. So we'll see what happens. A lot of books, a lot of fun. I'm not going to read everything, but isn't it great to have so much choice? Happy reading, everyone.